Ronda Rousey is the biggest mainstream star WWE currently has on their roster. She arrived in style at the Royal Rumble after the end of the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match. Since then, she has appeared in and been able to win her first match in the ring. At WrestleMania 34, she would face the likes of future Hall of Famer Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. She teamed up with Hall of Famer Kurt Angle, as Kurt would reveal the nefarious plans that Hunter and Stephanie had in store for her after signing her to WWE. Since then, she's come a long way, and WWE seems to be positioning her as one of their top talents in the women's division, possibly setting her up for a women's title match against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 35. There are several things that WWE does not want you to know or remember about her. However, my name is John, and in this list we will talk about 10 things that WWE hopes we forget about Ronda Rousey. Any UFC fan will know about the Diaz brothers. The two are extremely polarizing figures in the MMA world. Nick and Nate Diaz talked a lot of smack, missed press events, and advocated for the use of recreational marijuana. Both the brothers are exceptionally skilled in the octagon, with Nate having a 19-11 fight record while Nick has a 26-9 record. The fact remains that despite their exceptional ability, they are not looked upon fondly by the management in UFC. The attitudes and beliefs that they hold personally contradict the professional and disciplined personalities of the UFC advocates. On top of this, both have been suspended due to drug use related issues. Ronda Rousey portrays a different sort of respect and disciplined character, which WWE wants her to maintain. She was good friends with the Diaz brothers and even trained with them, and that is not something that WWE will want their fans to remember about her time in UFC. Ronda Rousey was expected to join Hollywood after her time in UFC. Instead, she would join the WWE. She already has been associated with movies like Furious 7 and Expendables 3. While she was in WWE, she has also taken time off for her filming schedule. The company has a serious problem with their top stars leaving and joining the film industry, while some continue to work part-time like John Cena. However, not everyone is doing the same amount of favors. The Rock and Batista now have full-time film careers, with both men being quite a big success in the Hollywood scene. Really, the last thing WWE would want is for the fans to assume that Ronda Rousey would be going in the same direction and eventually leaving the WWE. One of the main things that WWE has sold about Ronda Rousey is how she is almost indomitable as a competitor. They have advertised how she won in MMA and the incredible skill she has in the octagon. The unbeaten streak has been going as the major thing that WWE wants the fans to keep in mind when they think of her. The truth about Ronda is that it's somewhat different. There was definitely a time in her UFC career where she was untouchable, but she was not able to maintain this position. In the latter stages of her career, she lost both the matches that she had participated in. After the shocking defeat she would suffer at the hands of Holly Holm, she lost again in the fight that was advertised to be her redemption. So this is definitely something WWE isn't going to want to be mentioned. WWE has promoted Ronda as a well-rounded proficient MMA expert when she came into the company. There was a lot of talk of regarding her ability in the octagon, and the truth is something that is different. While Ronda is excellent at grappling, her skills in all aspects of MMA are not as good. There was a time when MMA artists could specialize in only one discipline, but that is long gone with the current fighters being well-rounded on all fronts. Her grappling abilities helped her to get away with win after win, but she was not that good at striking and only won 3 fights via TKO. WWE as a wrestling promotion was not always a paragon of virtue. During the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression Era, they used sexual innuendo in characters like The Godfather and regular programming. During this time, the women were used as little more than eye candy and often were publicly humiliated on television. This was something that was accepted widely at this time as well. Since then, they have come a long way. After becoming PG, and later after the women's revolution, WWE steered away from depicting women as sex symbols, and instead concentrated on their character development and in-ring skill. With all this in mind, It is unlikely that they will be interested in their top employees talking about their sex life on public TV. Once, when Ronda was asked by a fan how often she has sex before a fight, she shot him down immediately. She then humiliated him by asking what his mother would say if she had heard him asking such questions. On another occasion, however, on the Conan O'Brien show, she was candid about her sex life and revealed intimate details. WWE will be hoping that fans do not remember this about her. Although she was portrayed as being invincible, during her time with UFC there was always one woman that Ronda would avoid. Cyborg is considered to be one of the most dominant women to have stepped into the octagon. Her fighting prowess knew no bounds and she still has an almost faultless record. After the first loss she would suffer in her first fight, she went on to have a successful career with no more losses. The only blip was that a victory was overturned due to testing positive for drugs. She won 17 of her 20 victories via TKO. Ronda might have also surely lost if she ever faced her, but the time never came that such a fight took place. Many say it was because Ronda avoided fighting her at all costs. While Ronda Rousey was an excellent fighter in the UFC, her prowess does not extend to wrestling. She trained with the likes of Natalya and other trainers before signing with the promotion so that she would have basic wrestling knowledge before stepping into the ring. The fact remains, however, that is not enough time for her to have gained enough experience. Most professionals train for about a year before entering the ring. Taking a bump safely and being able to communicate with your opponent is not something that translates from MMA to WWE. Unlike UFC, wrestling is about teamwork with your opponent so that you can put on the best performance possible. Ronda has a long way to go before she can reach the level that WWE are hoping to book her in. When it comes to mat wrestling, Ronda Rousey is more gifted than most men and women in WWE. She has legitimate skills and was an ex-Olympian before she came to MMA. She has then developed her skills of grappling even more. Kurt Angle is possibly one of the only stars who could even put up with Ronda in a legitimate wrestling match. WWE, though, are trying to put out a progressive look with the women's revolution. Although the argument remains that they are not progressive due to the pay gap remaining between the two genders, and Mr. McMahon would not take kindly to the fact that if Ronda chose, she could really wipe the floor with most of the male roster. Ronda was one of the top women in UFC and she set records for women everywhere during her run with the company, making fans pay attention to the women's division. The difference between WWE and UFC is extremely vast, whereas UFC is nothing but the ability of a person to fight, which promo skills are not really that important. Sure, if a person is skilled on the mic, it doesn't hurt them at all, with Conor McGregor being a prime example of this. But at the end of the day, the company is about the skill of the competitor in MMA. If they're not able to deliver a promo on the mic, it will not hinder their chances in a fight. Such is not the case in WWE. WWE is branded as sports entertainment, where it is well thought out and important for the competitors to actually make the audience believe in them through a well-crafted promo. Skills on the mic can make or break a competitor, with those who are good being given a huge chance which they otherwise might not have gotten. CM Punk's popularity came from his incredible pipe bomb promo, and The Miz's career was rejuvenated when he was able to deliver a promo on Daniel Bryan, using logic to call him out on talking smack. Ronda simply is not as skilled on the microphone, and her skills will take a lot of work before she can even hope to be able to do some of the same work. When Ronda Rousey made her debut in WWE after the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, she interrupted the celebration of the winner Asuka. She made her way into the ring and pointed at the sign. She then looked at Asuka and then pointed at the sign again, which she refused to shake her hand. Her entry was made even more awkward when it seemed Stephanie would not shake her hand but finally did so. As if it was not clear that she intended the audience to know she wanted a match at WrestleMania, on her way out, she pointed at the sign again. While the entire show had been amazing and is considered to be one of the better Royal Rumble events in recent years, the fact remains the ending just seemed a bit awkward, with Rousey having no idea what to do in the ring other than just point at the WrestleMania sign over and over again. And these are the 10 things that WWE is going to want you to forget about Ronda Rousey. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you so much as always for watching Wrestling Hub, and I will see you later with more wrestling videos.